gentle nudge towards their five a day.
Steady, young man, when you're short on your dough, you can stay there, and I'm sure you will find many ways to have a good time. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to
Hula hoops in a whole world of their own. Why not make your own film? Go to hulahoops.ie to enter and win a Golden Hoop Film Award.
Old Rice Krispiesville. Folks have been drilling for chocolate here since way back. No luck, though. Until now. Look at all those Rice Krispies drenched in delicious chocolate. Woohoo! They sure know how to stick together. New Kellogg's Rice Krispie Squares. Totally chocolatey.
They were coming out the speakers and were winding up straight in your sneakers. And all my dance heroes, what if they existed? There's one thing I can never confess, so I can dance a single step.
Do you know something? I heard you.
You heard?
No, listen. Give me a minute. I heard. With a natural...
Herd of elephants.
No, shush. I heard...
You heard?
Stop interrupting me. I heard that we, right, contain only...
Natural colours and natural flavours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the Natural Confectionery Company.
Pack.
No, with the Natural
Confectionery pack.
The Natural.
Yeah.
Confectionery.
Sorry?
No, with the Natural Confectionery Company.
Natural wolves.
Will you listen? I heard...
Herd of elephants.
Welcome to RTE Radio 1 with Pat Kenny.
We're going to resume our political debate in a few moments, but we're all going to take a deep breath. Let's try and hear what people are saying.
Are you on a fixed mortgage or a variable or a tracker? I have never before, in all my time doing this program, got reaction to a single topic as we got to that particular one. There was pain heaped on more pain.
From the toughest topics to the brighter side of life.
We welcome your questions
today with Pat Kenny on RTE Radio 1.
We'll have plenty of time squabbling.
3, 2, 1, tortilla, vamos a
We've come from all over Europe to race, to battle, to take on the Tour of Ireland.
From the 21st to the 23rd of August.
We're the Sean Kelly Cycling Academy, and we're doing more with An Post, official partner to the Tour of Ireland
and sponsor of the An Post green jersey.
RTE1's new drama season is all about the people, the places and the faces. There's love and betrayal, secrets and lies. Old friends are reconciled in Raw. With a new leader comes new rules.
Are you ready for a trip outside your comfort zone?
In Conor McPherson's The Eclipse, Ciarán Hinds experiences the intrigue of the paranormal. While Aidan Quinn has another agenda.
I'm haunted by that man.
We return to Pure Mule for the last weekend.
I have asked your mother to marry me.
There's new faces and old magic in the clinic.
That's mine, by the way.
Oh, you've met them.
As Carrickstown celebrates its centenary, the fight for mayor heats up.
Would you just be quiet?
Children, can we just play nice?
New season drama on RTE1 reflecting life, love and attitude.
She dared to be different and became an icon. Coco Chanel continues tonight at 9:30 on RTE1.
Well, from a midsummer Christmas to late August, it's Rose of Tralee time, so be sure to tune in this Tuesday and Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. for the 50th International Rose Selection. And because of the live coverage from the Dome, we've an hour-long Fair City tonight, and again this Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Radio Telefíséireann in isir bhealach a haon toisiún am do Nuacht RTE ó léamh ag móra tíní wadín.
Go mena díogaibh agus fáilte go Nuacht a lé. Thug an teire airgad is Brian Lenihan le fis in neomh go gurthir siar an bhótála dihan aireachtais ar an reachtaíocht maidir leis an gníomhaireacht náisiúnta an bhána siú hóchunaí nó náma go dtí go mbeidh an referen ar chun Lisbon Hart.
Siopadarí a mala clia aniu ach an mení slú airgid le cahahacu a mahanseo. Tuairiscítear go bhfuil cáin ar héalachas agus a risce a más na Maltaí atá luaite a dúrascail an Comisiún Cánachais atá le fáilsiú fi an run seachtaní. Ach, dúirt an tar airgad is Brian Lenihan aniu go mbeidh an rialta sector tús áite de cháin charbóin agus de chirithe ar chaite has poblí an san chead bhuiséad eile. Thug Brian Lenihan le fis go mbeidh go gurthir siar an bhótal ar reachtaíocht de bhunú na haisneach de náma sa dál go dtí go mbeidh conrú Lisbon Hart.
Bé mé de caiint leis na páirtí eile I déobh an am ceart don bhótáil ar an ábhar sin. Mar is rád anna táchtach é go bhfuil na páirtithe go léir le chéile I déobh Lisbon, tá an cabhar atá agin agus a dheoimid ó Eorop I déobh ar deachtrachta economíochta anna táhachtach agus ba chóir go mbeidh go léir le chéile roimh Lisbon ar an ábhar sin.
Dúirtear learí airgad is ina gael Richard Bruton go an náma agus bank dríochta agus ggóil an rialtas agsúil go mbeidh sé ábalta dráíocha na manc a áthú ó luaí go óir. Tá fina gael ag malú náma a thuntach bunat ceann agus institiúd a bhhanú a bheith ábalta ísachtaí a chuir fáil a ríist. Mas rud é go mbeidh na hebrethe ag an rialtas leis an reachtaíocht ar bhhanú náma a ríthe de hin aireachtais, dúirt Richard Bruton aniu go ndeannaí fine gael a dhíhil leasaithe a chuir leis an reachtaíocht sin fécinn leis an cháiníochar a chosaint in airid agus is féidir. Padam go hín Nuacht RTE ag an run airgadis I mala clia.
Díar agrad chónam thions go na tógeala go níon hí measúnú omlan ar na droid ar fad a dain trénach le ar an ród éan, Harstó. I bhíonna si na tuptaise a hála lábh le molach ide a dúisgart chun de bhlá clia aróné. Thug sráci gon drochad mhaith, tamil héis go chréingáil heiris. Ba an chuid gan éan nó dúnta níos go ceann tríhí ar a laide deirtar. Céala se go gatha passionéirí dul ar wasanna idir rathadáha agus stáisiún échonéal am lá clia, ba seirbhí sí dart mars gnách. Buí ar óchtarán na tíre seo Mary Robinson a thug an phríomh óráid ag comóra bliantúil bhéal am lá in iarthar de chorca I neamh. Aineoin na droch aimsúre ar maidin, bhála sos le 2,000 go léad duine isteach ag an náit ar feallmhaíomh Michael Collins le líon an chagad catharga a 1952. Dúirt an tír ochtarán gur dúil an mór gon rialtas faoi láthair ar bhaibban na eacnáimeachta, go háirithe an bhearna idir lucht an tebhris agus iad siúd atá ar an meagán. Thar lear agus tá staid éigeandála fógraí I neisce na Gréige mar gheall ar hínta foríseacha tá gimocht ó smacht. Bégan 10,000 duine a chur amach as a go tithe an mróchháilte san aithean tróna. Tá chosalach ar idir na húdaráis nach féidir iad a cheansó, agus ó hosan na tínta foríseacha aró réir is a Skype is a neartú atá siad. I neartú freisin tá ghuithe agus chomála tróna ghuithe bheith ag siar árthó tá sé gol cruális na seirbhísí éigeandála tíocht roimhe an leisce. Tá sosa cheirascóirtaine ar fad a dó inis sin réig. Is a mána beag 2 kilométer sero hu an bríomhchathal a hosan na tínte, ach ó lean siad a Skype bégan na 1,000 duine chur amach as a go tithe an mróchhála san aithean. Tá na céta locht móchta tine, saidúí agus muinte na háite ar a míle díhal a féchans leis a tínte I cheansó. Tá cúna teachtaí ón Idal, ón Bhranc agus ón Gipir, agus tá Comisiún Eorpach a chuir taceachta ar fáil níos freisin. Is minic le tínta sabhra bheits an néig. Tocht ard, gcuithe, trumach agus dómáilíseach is cúisleú go hondúil. Gá bhíonachchain, maríomh os cin 3 duine go bhhar droch hínte a bhhar de lá ag an nám. Níl cúlú eacnáimeachta damhanda ag déanna imrí níos mú go chuine as an Idalis mar go bhfuil an laisó is smú I riamh san Eorop buirte go tééis sin. 147 milliún euro níos saibhre atá sé nó sí, agus níor cathú ach €2 ar a dicéad bócach a ceannaimh I gcafé beag I Gantar Tuscany. Agus scéal spórs tá choiríonn na héireann sa bell tír ón díbrí as críomh na bliana seo, bhfuil corca trónhéad a glufa leithcheannas na héireann ar farca chróca. For Daniel Gouldy cúl cineannach sa géadla, héis rúthar Cholam O'Neill. Cuireadh fearr lár parca chorca Alan O'Connor gon fáic rih leahama, ach fiú agus é tíobh le chead fear déag a sin go deire, bhí an lámh nuachtar ag fir a deisgurt. Hína 30 a 9 an scór deire a bhí an. Agus sin bhfuil aine díobh go buinte seo tróna bain chéad nuacht eile an Gaeilge ar siúl ag 47 ar TG Ceathair. Idir an dálín san go fóil.
Good evening. The Minister for Finance, Brian Lenihan, has criticised Fine Gael's proposal to establish a good bank to help get the country out of recession. Mr Lenihan said the proposal was irresponsible, and he said Fine Gael had failed to put forward a workable alternative to NAMA. The Fine Gael finance spokesperson, Richard Bruton, said his party had proposed the establishment of a national recovery bank, which he said would help increase lending to households and businesses. The Construction Industry Federation has called for an immediate assessment of all bridges used by Irish Rail following the collapse of a viaduct in Malahide, County Dublin. Ian Rodaran says there will be extra buses for commuters who would normally use the train line north of Malahide. The authorities in Greece have ordered the evacuation of an Athens suburb as hundreds of fire crews continue to battle wildfires in the region. The Scottish Government has again defended its decision to release the man convicted of the Lockerbie bombing. The annual commemoration of the death of Michael Collins was held at Ballinablaw in County Cork. This year's oration was given by the former President of Ireland, Mary Robinson. A 16-year-old boy has died in a road accident in County Wicklow. The collision happened near Arklow at about 2:30 this morning. A man in his 70s and a woman in her 90s were rescued after a flood at their home near Rowan in County Clare. And that's all for the moment. A very good evening.
Still unmistakably Avonmore, now with a cool new look. Sponsors of RTE Weather.
Good evening. Now, after another fairly wet week, we've seen another pulse of heavy rain move in the last 24 hours, but the rest of Europe enjoying fabulous weather. That weather front, though, pushing into southern Britain and western France during tomorrow, before then heading a little further eastwards by Tuesday, and still very warm too, with temperatures actually close to 30 in some areas. So in terms of the major cities for tomorrow, as that rain moves into Britain and western parts of France, they'll see a dull and wet day in London and in Paris tomorrow, and also in parts of Norway and Sweden their weather will also take a downturn. For the Mediterranean, though, be that at the western or eastern end of the Mediterranean, still dry and extremely hot, so much so that the Spanish Met Service still has a heat wave warning in operation. Also extremely hot in Portugal too, and in Italy, and across Greece they still have those wildfires raging, being fanned by strong winds. And remember, these temperatures here are on the coast. The figures are a lot higher further inland. Then for Madeira and for the Canary Islands, in the days ahead, their temperatures on average will work out about 24, 25 with beautiful blue skies. For us tomorrow, well, it will be brighter than it has been today, but there will also be showers at times. Some of those are expected to be heavy. Temperatures up about 17 or 18 degrees Celsius. And John will have more details for you on that following the 6-1. Good evening.
Still unmistakably Avonmore. Now easy breezy to pour. Sponsors of RTE Weather.
I love looking out to the sea. Peace. Tranquility.
Sun. Sea.
You wouldn't go to the pub with your husbands today now, no?
Colour's that? You wouldn't have got that second kind of pub.
The pub and Paddy.
We booked free passes for the Late Late Show for that.
O'Gorman. Tonight at 7:30 on RTE1.
Continue Shanghai, Pakistan Glendon on the grill. Our fresh and Carmen's criminal Dini. The Sasna, America, our fuck the China. I can touch it better than clean in his love. It's fun to trust your feet to the corky. I was a corky to the corky. I run a hard at doing a Norwich in Northern Australia. Gosh, that corner free crane, you. I got breakfast in the sin. Corky to go, rebels to go, up your rebels.
RTE Sport. Proud sponsors of the GAA Hurling Championship.
El día de trabajo es de 10 horas, comenzando a las 6 de la mañana. Pero cuando hay mucho que hacer, comenzarás a las 2. Se trabajan los 7 días de la semana, pero tenés 2 días libres al mes. Vas a usar un machete, pero si te cortas, la finca no asume ninguna responsabilidad. Y si alguien te pregunta, pues no trabaja para nosotros. ¿Está claro?
Give a child hope for the future. Help Throcra end the misery of child labour. Please give just €5 a month. Call 1850 408 408 now. That's 1850 408 408. Thank you.
Power City have great deals on compact laptops with dual-core processor, webcam, true widescreen display and great graphics. That's compact at Power City every weeknight till 9.
I'm gonna wash that man right out of my hair. This house, these walls, there'll be no more greys and beige and clean lines. I'm gonna throw on summer pudding with a twist of pashmina, or velvet black and simmering raspberry crush, topped off with dollops of custard and orange squash. So goodbye, beige man. I've got myself back, and it shows.
Live life in colour. Don't just paint it, crown it.
Some things you have to try, like broadband from O2. Satisfy your curiosity. Try O2 broadband for free. Borrow a modem at your local O2 store. Together is better. O2.
Stop. Look. Listen.
During Heritage Week, the Heritage Council is inviting you to celebrate the stories, sounds, images and lives written in the Irish landscape.
From wildlife to nightlife, from seaside to hillside, you'll find events for all ages at heritageweek.ie. Pick up a brochure at your local library or tourist office. Be part of it. It's part of you. Heritage Week, August 22nd to 30th.
Welcome to RTE Radio 1.
Hello, good afternoon, and you're very welcome to Live Line.
Where Joe is likely to say,
according to the Gardaí,
Some people go to extraordinary lengths to test Regina chamomile toilet tissue. With 3-ply comforting chamomile balm, it feels really special. Go on, discover Regina chamomile for yourself.
New season movie premieres on RT1, steeped in myth, magic and mayhem.
You're mad. Thank goodness for that, because if I wasn't, this would probably never work.
Like movies, you love the new season lineup.
Bring it on!
Superheroes, award winners, new season movies packed with Irish TV premieres. Ben Stiller survives a night in the museum.
Good Lord, Lawrence, why are you slapping a monkey?
Welcome back, brother.
Tom Cruise and Philip Seymour Hoffman go head-to-head in the explosive Mission Impossible 3.
You don't think I'll do it?
Gear up for some amazing award-winning animation. From Cars to Happy Feet. Meet the family with incredible credentials.
She's washable, darling. That's a new feature.
Brandon Routh dons the cape in Superman Returns. Ang Lee directs Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal in Brokeback Mountain. Kate Winslet and Cameron Diaz take a holiday. And Anne Hathaway gets the job from hell.
He's that sad little person. Are we doing a before and after piece I don't know about?
Only the best movie premieres in the new season on RTE1.
Radio Telefiche Éireann. Now on RT1 we join Anthony Murnane in the RT newsroom.
Hello there, you're welcome. The headlines this evening. Property tax may be postponed as Minister indicates carbon tax and spending cuts are a budget priority. Éireann Road Éireann urged to assess rail bridges around the country after Malahide viaduct collapse. Tens of thousands of residents flee the Athens suburbs as wildfires blaze out of control.
And it's been a busy afternoon on the sporting front. Coming up, a stunning all-round display by a reduced Cork team secures an All-Ireland final date for the Rebels. And Chelsea maintain their 100% record this season with a 2-0 win away from home at Fulham.
Householders look set to be spared the imposition of a new property tax and water charges in the next budget. The Minister for Finance, Brian Lenihan, has confirmed that his priorities for the next budget will be the introduction of a carbon tax and more spending cuts.
Brian Lenihan picked up from where the Taoiseach left off last Friday, defending the government's NAMA plan to buy up toxic loans from the banks. The Finance Minister also outlined his priorities for the next budget. Speaking on RTE's This Week earlier today, Mr Lenihan acknowledged that the government had reached the limits of personal taxation. In the coming days, the Commission on Taxation will present him with proposals for new, politically sensitive taxes, including a property tax and water charges. Asked later about the likelihood of these taxes featuring in the next budget, he signalled the priorities would lie elsewhere.
The government has made it clear it's committed to a carbon tax in this budget. That's a big operation in itself.
In relation to the taxation generally, I've expressed the view many times now that the burden of taxation is high enough on the citizens and the taxpayers, and that we have to solve our economic problems and our financial problems as a state through further expenditure reductions or cuts.
While he believes the current NAMA plan does protect taxpayers, Mr Lenihan left the door open to proposals from his coalition partners, the Green Party.
I'm satisfied that what is there will protect the taxpayer, but if there are other constructive suggestions that can further protect the taxpayer, of course I'll entertain them.
But the Minister and the main opposition party are still unlikely to see eye to eye on NAMA.
We will try and prevent the taxpayer being ripped off in this proposal, and that is the biggest risk here, that the taxpayer will be left with an albatross around their neck for years to come.
The fate of the NAMA plan now lies with the Green Party. If changes can be made to the draft legislation that secures their continued support, then NAMA will go ahead, despite the critics and the opposition. Brian Dowling, RTE News.
The Construction Industry Federation has said there should be an immediate assessment of all bridges used by Irish Rail. It follows the collapse of a rail line in Malahide in Dublin 2 days ago. Thousands of commuters are being inconvenienced, and businesses around Malahide say the collapse has temporarily closed them down.
It emerged today that one of the 11 viaduct piers gave way, causing the railway bridge to collapse. The Construction Industry Federation said a complete audit of all rail bridges is now needed. It estimates the repair work here to cost up to €25 million.
The cost is going to be very, very significant, obviously, in terms of reconstruction of the bridge and indeed in terms of the alternative arrangements we're putting in place to customers. But they are secondary considerations. We need to provide alternatives to customers, and we need to ensure the bridge is safely reinstated.
We are here for a set of circumstances which are unpleasant, but of course could be have been very much worse.
Businesses based around the bridge are concerned that as long as it remains out of action, so does the estuary.
The level in the estuary dictates how we can sail, and with the damage that's now being caused since the accident on Friday night, the levels have dropped in the estuary. There's also a warning from the Coast Guard that the estuary is now unsafe for sailing.
For the moment, all sailing activities have stopped, but it is a matter that will have to be reviewed. We will, at Malahide, have to make a decision about our annual regatta, which is due next weekend.
Up to 20,000 commuters are now facing longer journey times. A special bus service will run from Drogheda to Dublin City. People in the large commuter belt area north of Malahide in Dublin are being urged to travel by bus. The Belfast to Dublin train will terminate at Drogheda, with a bus service completing the journey to Dublin, and a rail shuttle service will operate between Drogheda and Skerries. AA Roadwatch says all commuters travelling into Dublin City are likely to face disruption, with more people taking to the roads.
Considerable delays around Dublin Port and the East Link Bridge are also likely tomorrow. Striking dock workers are due to hold protest marches in this area from 10:30 in the morning. Sharon Tobin, RTE News, Dublin.
3 men are being questioned by Gardaí in Dublin following a shooting incident early this morning. 2 men were injured when a shotgun was fired at them on the North Circular Road. Neither are said to be in a critical condition. 3 men were arrested following a Garda chase. They are being held at Store Street and Mountjoy Garda stations. In Greece, thousands of residents in Athens have been ordered to leave their homes as wildfires continue to burn out of control. Hundreds of firefighters are tackling the fires. Aircraft from other EU countries have been drafted in to help.
Strong winds are hampering efforts to control the flames. Help from Greece's EU allies has started to arrive, and 2 Italian aircraft are already helping with efforts, with more expected from France and Cyprus. The fires began late on Friday in the village of Grammatico, about 40 kilometres northeast of the Greek capital, and then spread to neighbouring villages in the northern suburbs of Athens. Today, officials advised around 10,000 residents of Aia Stefanos to leave the suburb as the flames moved ever closer to their homes. A state of emergency has been declared in eastern Attica, where about 30,000 acres of forest and olive groves have been destroyed. Overnight, many residents around Athens had already abandoned their homes. This man says by the time they realised what was happening and could get into their car to leave, the fire had surrounded them. and now this was all that was left. More than 600 firefighters and almost 350 soldiers have now been dispatched to deal with these fires, which have been described by officials as the biggest since Greece's worst wildfires in living memory, which killed 65 people back in 2007. Kate Egan, RTE News.
A 16-year-old boy has died in a road accident in County Wicklow. He had been in a car that crashed into an electricity pole on a stretch of the N11. It happened about 20 kilometres south of Wicklow town, between Jack White's and the Tap pub. The Scottish Government is expected to come under pressure when its Parliament reconvenes tomorrow for a special debate on the release of the Lockerbie bomber. Scotland's First Minister said the release was the right thing to do, but a scathing letter from the Director of the FBI has increased international pressure for a detailed explanation.
Amid mounting criticism from home and abroad, the Scottish Government reconvenes tomorrow for a special debate on the release of Lockerbie bomber Abdel Basset Ali al-Megrahi. FBI Director Robert Mueller was involved in the original investigation into the Lockerbie bombing, which killed 270 people in 1988. Now a stinging rebuke from him has added to the increasing pressure on Scottish Justice Secretary Kenny McCaskill, who on Thursday announced his decision to release the convicted murderer on compassionate grounds. Calling the release inexplicable and outrageous, Mr Mueller said it made a mockery of justice. A former Scottish First Minister has added his voice to the criticism, saying he believes the whole incident has shamed the country.
I think the sight of Scottish saltires welcoming home a convicted bomber to Libya has damaged the reputation of Scotland, it's damaged our justice system, and it's brought shame on our country. And it's time for the Parliament to make clear that on this occasion the Scottish Government did not speak for the people of Scotland.
But today, First Minister Alex Salmond said he stood by the decision and that there was no ulterior motive to the release. The decision was taken on purely compassionate grounds. And he denied that the controversy has damaged the country's relationship with the US, saying it remains strong and enduring. It's a denial he will no doubt have to repeat tomorrow when the Scottish Parliament reconvenes. Fiona Mitchell, RTE News.
The former President, Mary Robinson, has said the country's poor must be protected from the recession and that there is no easy way out of the current economic slump. Mrs Robinson was speaking at the annual Béal na Bláth ceremony in West Cork, commemorating the death of Michael Collins.
87 years on, and the crowds still come to the spot where Michael Collins was killed back in 1922. A commemoration has taken place here every year since his death. An estimated 2,500 people gathered today to listen to the former President of Ireland, Mary Robinson, deliver the oration. Seats were at a premium. And despite the driving rain, the former President was afforded a warm welcome. Mrs Robinson then gave her thoughts on Ireland's current economic problems.
The ones who have most to lose are at greatest risk. The poor, those who have lost their jobs, young people whose prospects are suddenly much worse than they thought. Many commentators have made the point that the measures we put in place in the period ahead will affect a whole generation. Everyone is bracing themselves for strong medicine. It's imperative that we get the prescription right.
She went on to say that the gap between rich and poor here is too wide.
Those who can afford most should give most. Secondly, those at the lowest end of the scale should be protected from the worst effects of the recession. Both of these principles seem to me to be fundamental. They are an essential part of a vision of the future, which is founded on fairness and bridging the gap between the well-off and the poor, a gap which is already too wide in Ireland.
Mrs Robinson added that the decisions facing the government over the economy are momentous. The ceremony then ended with the laying of wreaths. Conor Hunt, RTE News.
We're going to take a break now. Afterwards, Ivan will have all the afternoon sports news.
Thanks very much, Anthony. Yes, in just a few minutes, Tyrone's dream of back-to-back titles is unceremoniously crushed by Cork at Croke Park. And Ireland's Peter Lowry forces a playoff at the KLM Open, only to be denied at the first hole by Simon Dyson.
It's the 50th anniversary of the Rose of Tralee. Under my big 80s style dress,
My knees were knocking. I had the vase and the flowers and the tiara going.
A momentous occasion, a celebration of being Irish.
I'm exhausted already.
The Rose of Tralee celebration starts Monday at 9:35 on RTE1.
If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if all men count with you but none too much. If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Vodafone. Make the most of now.
The train didn't always stop in Charleville, you know. It just seemed to break down there. A lot. So often that they decided to build a station. Charleville, the home of Irish cheddar.
Harvey Norman Back to School catalogue out now. Incredible deals across our range of computers, cameras, phones, printers, games and more. This Toshiba notebook 4GB of RAM, only €498, hot price. Exclusive to Harvey Norman, the Power Pack compact desktop with 19-inch monitor, €549. Don't spend your cash up front. Rent your new technology over €599 with Flexi Rent and get a bonus 320GB hard drive or Microsoft Office Home and Student. What a deal. Hurry, limited offer, don't miss out. Go Harvey, go!
Wave hello to the new Neutrogena Wave, the revolutionary vibrating cleanser. With gentle vibrations, it's like you can feel your pores open to clean deep down and remove dirt, oil, and makeup.
For me, nothing cleanses like the Wave. My skin looks softer right away.
The new Wave Power Cleanser from Neutrogena.
Oh, a chicken fly!
Ew.
From the director of Spy Kids.
Can you believe it?
More adventure than you could ever wish for. Shorts.
Some people go to extraordinary lengths to test Regina chamomile toilet tissue. With 3-ply comforting chamomile balm, it feels really special. Go on, discover Regina chamomile for yourself.
Hello again. Let's just check on tonight's main news. Householders look set to be spared the imposition of a new property tax and water charges in the next budget. The Minister for Finance, Brian Lenihan, has confirmed that his priorities will be the introduction of a carbon tax and more spending cuts. Now we'll have the sports news. Here's Yvonne.
Thanks very much indeed, Anthony. Yes, Croke Park was the centre of sporting attention this afternoon as Tyrone and Cork faced off for a place in this year's All-Ireland final. A hugely impressive display from the Munster men means the end of the road for the defending champions.
Pundits were evenly divided on the likely outcome prior to throw-in. Cork hugely impressive this year. Tyrone always seeming to have the necessary reserves when needed. A shaky start by the Rebels saw 2 chances squandered in the opening 2 minutes, and it was Tyrone through Ryan McMenamin and Stephen O'Neill who held the early advantage. 7 minutes in, however, Cork struck the first real blow. It started with a short kick-out. It ended in the Tyrone net.
And O'Neill blocked and put in the back of the net by Daniel Goulding.
It was a goal that heralded a real period of Cork dominance, one that would garner 5 unanswered points. It was a haul that left the All-Ireland champions looking shell-shocked, and as the half-hour mark approached, Cork were 6 to the good. Then came the moment of controversy that could have derailed Cork's final aspirations. Referee John Bannon felt Alan O'Connor's tackle on Owen Mulligan warranted a second yellow card, and though Conor Coonahan's side ended the half 5 points in front, they also finished it with 14 men. Stephen O'Neill was first on the score sheet after the restart, but Donnacha O'Connor was quick to reply with a brace. Tyrone were now in trouble. The arrival of Sean Kavanagh, a non-starter because of a stomach bug, a sign of that alarm. Cork, though, despite their numerical disadvantage, always looked in firm control. Philip Jordan's score was matched by Colm O'Neill, and though there were moments when Cork discipline slipped, John Miskela in particular riding his luck, Tyrone simply couldn't match their unshakable drive to reach an All-Ireland final. Sean Kavanagh did come close late on, but it would only have served as consolation. Cork have deservedly the opportunity to make up for the debacle of the 2007 final. On this performance, they'll take some stopping. Joe Stack, RTE News.
It's only 2 years since Cork played in an All-Ireland final, yet today's victory at Croke Park for the 14-man Rebels looked and felt like a breakthrough.
It feels good, but as I said to people there, we were in an All-Ireland final now, that's great, but we've been there before, and when you get that far you really want to push on, and if we can get another performance, then we're one step away from what would be our goal.
Fastest game we ever played, and I'd say the pace was just, especially in the second half there with 14 men, but next week we go over the line.
Half time, Noel and O'Connor had to reshuffle and kind of really dig deep.
Yeah, sums it up really. Alan is probably one of the most respected lads, and just some hard work, dog of a man, and just I didn't see it to no level, but he got sent off, and that's the bottom line. And it was great now that Alan get a chance to play in the Ireland final, because he deserves it more than anyone else really.
Last year's All-Ireland champions Tyrone endured an afternoon when nothing went to plan.
We tried very hard to get a bit of rhythm, to get a bit of fluency in our play, but it didn't happen. And I suppose that's a lot to do with Cork's quality as well. They were up for the game, they were good on the ball, they were hungry for the ball, and we found it very difficult to create anything constructive. And I suppose even when they lost their man, they were still able to regroup, and they probably allowed us to get the ball quite a bit in the second half, but felt confident that they could stop us doing much with it, and they achieved that.
As well as the sweetest of victories, Cork earned the luxury of waiting, poised for their next prey. Kerry and Meath will hope to join them next Sunday. Jonathan Mullen, RT News, Croke Park.
Well, there's confirmation of that result at Croke Park. Cork 113, Tyrone 11 points. Earlier this afternoon, meanwhile, Armagh Miners dismissed the challenge of Kerry. The Orchard County had 2 goals to spare, 2-10 to 10 points. Now, Peter Lowry has lost out in a 3-way playoff at the KLM Open, with England's Simon Dyson winning out on the first playoff hole. Lowry led the tournament with 3 holes to play, but this bogey putt on the 16th saw him slip back into a tie for the lead. Despite some nervous moments, he sank a 4-foot putt on the 18th to secure his place in the 3-way playoff with Simon Dyson and Swede Peter Hedblom. Dyson then went on to win the tournament for a second time. We move to soccer. Chelsea maintained their 100% record for the start of the Premier League season. They visited near neighbours Fulham, who failed to put them under any real pressure.
And Martin Tyler.
Damien Duff welcomed his old Chelsea teammates to Craven Cottage, and if Fulham fancied an upset, what may have been their best chance was in just the second minute. Clint Dempsey couldn't get control of his shot, however. Chelsea had the lion's share of the possession, but were often limited to speculative strikes from distance. John Obi Mikel was one of those to try a long shot, but his strike curled away from John Schwarzer in the Fulham goal. With 6 minutes to go to half-time, Nicolas Anelka passed through to Didier Drogba. He duly finished the goal after Fulham's appeals for offside fell on deaf ears. It was the only shot on target in the first half. Peter Cech looked a little fragile early in the second half. At the opposite end, Schwarzer had to be alert in the Fulham goal as Drogba sought a second. Damien Duff tried to level things up from distance during a brief spell where Fulham saw more of the ball. Chelsea soon began to dominate again though, Michael Ballack nodding down for Frank Lampard, who couldn't add power to the shot. And then, as Anelka had provided for Drogba in the first half, the roles were reversed, the French international making no mistake with the finish. Fulham's attempts to get back on terms looked increasingly desperate as Chelsea maintained their 100% start to the season. Next up for them are the giant killers of Burnley. Ruth Marcavinia, RTE News.
Well, there were 3 Premier League games down for decision this afternoon, as well as that result in favour of Chelsea. Spurs picked up 3 points away from home after a 2-1 win over West Ham, and Burnley followed up last weekend's big win over Manchester United with a 1-0 win today against Everton, their second win at Turf Moor in as many weeks. Now, here at home, there is one game in the Premier Division of the League of Ireland. St Patrick's Athletic take a break from their European campaign for a tricky tie away with Derry City. That game kicks off shortly now at 7 o'clock. The Tour of Ireland finished up in Cork this afternoon with overall victory for 2009 going to Russell Downing of the Candy TV team. Today's third and final stage took riders across 186 kilometres from Bantry to Cork City and was won by Lars Peter Nordhaug of Norway. He was followed over the line by Downing, who also won stage 1 into Waterford on Friday. Downing's second place finish today was enough to secure both the points and the yellow jersey. The best placed Irishman in general classification after the 3-day tour was Philip Dignan of the Team Cervelo test team. Now, on the last day of competition at the World Athletics Championships in Berlin, the final of the men's 5,000 metres saw the clash of two greats. American Bernard Lagat was looking to add to the bronze he won in the 1,500 metres, while Kenenisa Bekele of Ethiopia was tipped for a second gold after his victory in the 10,000. Bekele led for the pack for most of the race, although at a very uneven pace. But over the last 100 metres, a titanic battle between the pair ended with the Ethiopian just finishing the stronger for a championship double. England have regained the Ashes following victory over Australia in the final test at the Oval. Graham Swann claimed the final and decisive wicket to give England victory by 197 runs and a 2-1 win in the series, sparking wild celebrations in the English camp and crowd. England will play a one-day international against Ireland at Stormont, and that's on Thursday. Rubens Barrichello won the European Grand Prix for the Brawn team in Valencia this afternoon. The victory is Barrichello's first in 5 years and leaves him second in the Drivers' Championship, 18 points behind Jenson Button. Defending world champion Lewis Hamilton had started from pole position but had a nightmare pit stop on the 37th lap. He finished second with Ferrari's Kimi Raikkonen third. Luca Badoer took over the other Ferrari drive in place of the injured Felipe Massa, but he finished second last. Well, that is all of your sport for now. A reminder to Gaelic Games fans that there's highlights of the day's action from Croke Park on the Sunday game, and that's RTE2 at 9:30. That's the sport for me for now, so it's back to Anthony.
Thanks very much. Now, while sailing might be regarded more as a leisure time activity than the provider of jobs, a project has been started at Adrigole on the Beara Peninsula to help people change their lifestyles and find employment on the water. A husband and wife team have launched the project.
The recession has created problems for many people. Lifestyles that couldn't be continued, mortgage problems and job difficulties.
I was working in a bar and restaurant just outside Belfast, and I was having a difficult time, you know, with mortgage and sort of those sort of things. And the lifestyle I was having was just, you know, usual late nights and early mornings and that sort of thing. I was just sick and tired of it, really. So I decided to look for a job in the sailing industry. It turns out that you need qualifications to work within the sailing industry.
Simon is one of those who successfully turned to the sea to acquire a new job, despite the way in which the marine sector has been ignored in state job creation policies. He's now a professional commercial yachtmaster, and there are more jobs to be found in the leisure marine sector, according to the husband and wife team who set up the West Cork Sailing Centre at Adrigole on the Beara Peninsula.
What we're trying to do is basically to create a commercial yachtmaster, of somebody who can work within the industry and get jobs either as marina managers, instructors, crew on boats, delivery skippers and that kind of thing.
And there is a demand for those kind of people?
Definitely. I mean, we have fairly regularly we would have people actually ring us up and saying, do you know of anybody who can help me?
The centre has been in operation for 10 years, training children in basic sailing. Now it's planning an alternative future for those who've lost jobs. It might be considered a dramatic change in lifestyle, but what's happening here in West Cork does prove that there are jobs available at sea. Tom McSweeney, RTE News, Adrigole.
Now, before we go, let's just check on tonight's main news once again. Householders look set to be spared the imposition of a new property tax and water charges in the next budget. The Minister for Finance, Brian Lenihan, has confirmed that his priorities will be the introduction of a carbon tax and more spending cuts. Well, that's all for now. Angus will be back with Yvan at 9. From us all for now, good evening.
Still unmistakably Avonmore, now with a cool new look. Sponsors of RTE Weather.
Good
Good evening. Well, the eastern side of the country, the East Coast particularly, lived a charmed life today, and it was lovely for the match at Croke Park, but there was an awful lot of heavy rain around. It'll be brighter tomorrow, but it'll be showery tomorrow. Tuesday looks a better day overall, but certainly no sign of the weather settling down as we head into the last week of August. It was this pulse on the cold front that brought the heavy rain, tremendous amounts of rain to the west last night and during the day, up to over 40 mils in most places. Now, it's out of the way tomorrow, the front, but it leaves behind a very unstable atmosphere. I think a lot of the showers tomorrow will be in the northwest near this weather front here. The east and south of the country will see fewer showers, and fewer still, I think, in most places on Tuesday. Tuesday, one of the more reasonable days of the week, I think, or even of the month that we've had in this very, very unsettled month. It's got a lot more unsettled in the past week. And then on Tuesday night, another depression comes in from the Atlantic, moves up along the west coast on Wednesday. And what distinguishes this depression from the normal Atlantic depression is that it started life on the other side of the Atlantic in the Caribbean as a Hurricane Bill. But this normally happens a couple of times every season. There's no reason to suspect there's anything more in this than the usual rain and normal winds of an Atlantic depression. But obviously we'll be watching it closely in the next couple of days. But there was certainly a lot of rain last night and this morning. You can see a lot of it concentrated in the west, and it's almost cleared the east coast now. It's been brightening up through the afternoon, and it's practically be a bright evening the few hours that are left, and it'll be a clear night as well. Temperatures normally, that's got a little bit cooler at night now in the past week or so. The winds easing off, switching to a southwesterly direction. So it'll be bright tomorrow morning. As I say, it'll be showery during the day, particularly, I think, up here in the northwest. There may even showers, longer spells of rain. But the further east, the further south you go, I think, the better the day, but not a good day overall, because there still will be plenty of showers around. Tuesday looks a better day, but reasonably good temperatures, 19, 20 degrees, and the southwesterly breezes picking up here near the northwest coast. Well, that's it for the moment. I'm back later.
Still unmistakably Avonmore. Now with no more drips. Sponsors of RTE Weather.
Extreme style. Break the mold.
I put 6 months of hard work in, and I was not going to come to the Swiss Alps to fail.
Unbelievable feeling, can't even describe it.
I genuinely thought I didn't have it in me. When I came over the second peak, I started to get a bit emotional.
To cross that line in one piece, I thought I'd be crawling over, to be honest.
Coming over the finish line, it's an incredible feeling. And to see the other guys, and they've done it as well, and we all know how each other feel. And it was just, it was a great feeling.
I'll just get your details. I take it, John, you're male.
Yeah.
Okay. And have you any penalty points?
2.
Oh, my sweet divine. And what's the engine size?
The 2 litre.
Oh, yes!
Fully comp?
No nonsense, Dada-E! Low-cost car insurance. Get the cover you really need for less.
Things are hotting up in Carrickstown.
You know everything about my past.
In 2 one-hour specials. Fair City, tonight and Thursday at 8 on RTE1. Tonight on 1, she brought us The Little Black Dress and Chanel No. 5. Part 2 of the drama Coco Chanel is at 9:30. Yvonne crumbles in that hour-long Fair City at 8. While it's a sunny chat on the beach at Bettystown for Paddy O'Gorman at 7:30. Well, now on 1, students from IADT, the Institute of Art, Design and Technology, construct a replica Newgrange based on the historic tomb. That and more as Nationwide celebrates Heritage Week.
On Nationwide this evening, a celebration of Heritage Week. At Newgrange, we hear of a project to replicate the ancient Chamber of Light. We join students at the Bective Summer School on their archaeological dig. And we bring you news of various events taking place to mark this special week.
You're welcome to Nationwide. No marks for guessing where we are this evening. You can see the familiar outline of Newgrange behind me here. And we have something pretty special to celebrate Heritage Week in this country. To explain it all, we're joined by Finola O'Carroll from CRDS Archaeological Consultants. Now, before we explain the project, Finola, will you just remind us of the significance of this historical site?
Well, Newgrange is a passage tomb. It's 5,000 years old, give or take a few centuries. It was built as a tomb to house the bones of the dead of the time. But the most special thing about Newgrange is the fact that on the midwinter solstice, the 21st of December, the sunlight comes over the horizon there at Donore Hill and enters the passage right into the chamber.
Okay, so you and your colleagues at CRDS are involved in this project to recreate the business?
Well, we thought it was intriguing. We weren't into the business of burying dead people, and we thought, well, let's try and see if we can reconstruct how the light got into the passage. Is it something that was very, very difficult, that people had to be very skilled and have special knowledge to do? Or was it something that could be done by observation, trial and error, that a community who came together could just do it for themselves?
Because a lot of people in this country, when they think Newgrange, they think, uh-oh, that's very scientific, I will never understand. So are you trying to demystify the whole?
That's exactly it.
So what's the project then, Finola?
Well, the project is to try to reconstruct the tomb such that the light will come into our reconstructed tomb at the midwinter solstice. We have students here, and their brief is, without using any modern instruments, no GPS, no compasses, no tape measures, by observation and working it out themselves, to figure out the alignment of the passage and the height that the entrance would have to be above which the light box sits so that the sun can come in.
And then there's another team that's going to make a model.
That's right. They're model makers, and their brief is to try and make realistic looking stones for the entranceway and part of the passage and the backstone, which the light hopefully will hit.
On the 21st of December.
Exactly.
Well, it all started here, actually, on Donore Hill this morning, very, very early. We sent our reporter, Niall Martin, to see how the teams gelled together and to chart their progress. 4:30 in the morning, not for the faint-hearted, before dawn on Donore Hill.
Loads of little trees out there.
This is how our ancestors might have planned Newgrange 5,000 years ago.
Actually, I tell you what.
To make it possible to replicate the Newgrange phenomenon, the students need to know where the sun will rise on December 21st. The lamp is positioned at the exact spot of the solstice sunrise. The rest they have to figure out themselves. Students Donal Lynch and Anya French have been participating in the Bective Archaeology Field School, and today they're marking out the horizon in much the same way the builders of Newgrange would have done.
We're in the tomb at Newgrange at 5:30 in the morning. Outside, our students are attempting to replicate what is happening inside the tomb. Their challenge is to set out a line so that it aims at the rising point of the sun at the winter solstice, but also they have to take into consideration the slope of the ground and the position of the light box outside. And hopefully, when they do that correctly, it will exactly mimic what is going on in the chamber. The reason I'm lying on the floor of the chamber is that I am able now to see the horizon through the roof box where the sun will rise. And it is only along the floor of the chamber that the actual beam of sunlight comes right through the tomb up as far as the back of the chamber itself.
By 10:30 the archaeology students have their work done and tourists are streaming into the World Heritage Site. Now it's time for the model making students from the IADT Design College in Dunleary to arrive.
So you're all very welcome, and just before we go inside I just want you to take note of the design of the entrance here, how you've got the capstone and then the two orthostats, and then this is the roof box through which the sunlight shines at dawn at the winter solstice. So mind your heads as you go inside.
The model makers will be building a 19-metre long tunnel in front of the real thing to put the archaeologists' measurements to the test. So today Newgrange manager Claire Tuffy is letting them get the feel for the inside of the chamber.
Now this is the chamber. Now the outside of the monument, as I mentioned, was restored. But once you bow your head and you come inside, you're walking into it as it always has been. So you've just walked into a 5,000-year-old room. It's an extraordinary privilege to be able to do so. So everybody thinks that the sun sneaks up the passage. But in fact, if you remember the levels, like the floor here is on the same level as the roof box. When the sun clears the horizon, it comes through the roof box and it shines on the highest part of this room first, which nowadays is just here. Starts off as a very thin line of light, and very slowly, as the sun rises higher, the beam of light gets wider and it moves down the passage. And after 17 minutes, the beam of light has left the passage altogether. Now, 5,000 years ago, that first beam of light hit the back wall, but because the Earth's angle relative to the sun over the last 5,000 years has changed, it no longer goes so far.
They couldn't all be brown. No, but it's more like the bulbous rather than it.
The model-making students now need to look at models of Newgrange at the visitor centre. Over the next 6 months, the two teams will work together to construct Newgrange 2, to see if they can do it just as well as the original construction team.
We were there and they're not there. The same stuff.
So over the next few months, the two teams will be putting together Newgrange 2, and we'll come back here in December to see if they've managed to replicate the world-famous chamber. And we're very excited about the project, Nationwide's contribution, if you like, to Heritage Week. There are lots and lots of activities all around the country, and Claire Tuffy, who is the manager of the visitor centre here at Newgrange, is going to give us an idea of what's happening here in the Boyne Valley. Will we start here at Newgrange, Claire?
Well, here at Brunibonia Visitor Centre, all week long we're celebrating astronomy, modern day astronomy, because it ties in so wonderfully with the ancient monument. And we're having support from our Armagh Observatory and the Irish Astronomical Association. Just down the road at Old Mellifont Abbey, next Saturday afternoon, we're having what we're calling an afternoon on the tiles, where we're tasting Abbey ales and we're making some medieval tiles. Over at Tara on Sunday afternoon, we're having a Feis Teara, where we're celebrating Tara in poetry and in music. Lots of sites are free of charge, all during the week, and all people have to do to find out what's on in their area is log on to www.heritageweek.ie.
It sounds as if there's something there for people of all ages, families, individuals.
Yeah, the only thing about Heritage Week is that there are so many things going on that you would love to be able to go to all of them. So you have to read through and see what's in your area and see what suits you, but there's something for everybody.
And do you think it gives people an awareness of the rich heritage we have in this country?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, to celebrate our heritage in 1 week, to get out and about, and everything from nature walks to prehistoric sites, everything is there to celebrate.
You said that many of the sites are free of charge this week. Is that something that's really important to get people in?
Oh yes, because some people are constrained by the charges, like to go to see visits. Sometimes they're not as expensive as they think, but if there's an opportunity to visit them and they're free of charge, well then they might take the opportunity that they mightn't otherwise take. If you're coming here to Brunibonia, come early because we are really busy.
So you're going to have a busy week.
Yeah, we love it. Wish every week was Heritage Week.
We are back here in the replica of the chamber, and we're joined by representatives of the two teams. Here are the model makers, Matthew and Ed, and the archaeology team, Donal and Anya. Let's start with you guys. Anya, how was the day for you?
It was really good because it was interesting, because you got to see how it would have been done so many years ago, and you kind of got to experience what it would have been like if we had been building it as well.
And what about you, Donald? What was it for you?
I think it was an amazing experience, to be honest. Like me and Anya have grown up around the area, and just to put yourself back to your ancestors 5,000 years, I just think it's a wonderful thing to be able to say you come today and do a thing like this. It's just an amazing experience.
It sounds as if you have admiration for those people, your ancestors.
Yeah, I don't think you'd build a structure like Newgrange today, to be honest. They were wonderful architects for their day, and like in Newgrange no water comes in, it's a waterproof building. I don't think there's many buildings today that have holes and leaks in them, you know. I admire them, they're great people, you know.
And you rose to the challenge, you've done all your calculations?
Yeah, I suppose we came first to 4:30 this morning. We didn't know how the calculations were going to go, but just the archaeologists that were over us were very helpful, and we got there in the end. It was hard as slog, but we got there.
So you have a great sense of satisfaction?
Yeah, really happy with it.
Okay,
really.
So you're happy to hand the mantle over, more or less, now to the model makers. So what have you got in store for us in the next couple of months?
Well, basically we're going to be, around about September, we're going to start setting up a studio, and we're going to start putting plans together to build the 19-metre tunnel. The majority of it is not going to actually be needed to be fully made. It's going to be a dark tunnel, but the start of it is going to have a lot of detail, and then the end where the light actually hits the passage at the end of the passage is going to have detail in it as well. So we're going to be making mock stones out of polystyrene. And
where would you get the space to do all this, Ed?
I'm assuming some kind of studio is going to be supplied that will be big enough that we can fit something that it's going to have to be 19 metres long. So we're going to have to do dress rehearsals setting up the thing in the actual studio. It's going to have to be big enough to be able to build it there and then take it apart and bring it to Newgrange.
The thought, Matthew, of a dress rehearsal is quite interesting, because you know there'll be no dress rehearsals on the day, on the 21st of December.
Yeah, no, and the problem we'll have here is if the weather is bad, it could be a big issue, so we might have a very short window to actually get it up and get the shot right. And we'll be doing it early, and we want to have done it before any more of the tourists and that are in the area, so we can disassemble it again and then get back to business as normal.
How do you feel about the project that's now facing you as you move into the autumn?
Oh, it's brilliant. It's the kind of perfect thing for the course we're doing. It really brings everything together and could give us a real sense of how it's done in the real world, not just thinking about it yourself in your head or doing bits and pieces in college, you know.
Yeah.
This, we get a chance to bring it all together. And besides the physical modelling, we're going to be doing a CGI version of Newgrange itself. We're not sure what way we're going to do that yet, because we haven't too much experience in that area yet. But
well,
once we get back to college,
from your team here, who are here in their numbers to make sure that everything works well. How do you feel about the challenge, Ed?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Good.
Yeah, when I was told about it, we're told about the end of the last year. One of our tutors came along and asked us who'd be interested, and I was straight away I really wanted to do it. We do a lot of kind of small modelling and stuff like that, but to do something at this scale, at this point in our kind of just in a very early stage in college is amazing.
Okay, well listen, the best of luck to you all, and thanks for your participation, and I suppose we'll see you on the 21st of December.
Yeah,
okay.
Thank you. Thanks, Melanie.
Young people with a very challenging few months ahead. Now, some of those taking part in the project are also participating in the Bective Summer School, where they have been undertaking a real archaeological dig. And we went along to find out what they had unearthed. It's at Bective Abbey, which is just a little bit further up the River Boyne here.
There are field schools, and then there are field schools. This one took place for the month of July beside the 12th century Bective Abbey site on the banks of the Boyne. This is a collaborative project. Archaeology students and interested amateurs can take part in a real dig under the guidance of professional archaeologists.
Every day he's up here.
Well, I'm interested in the daily lives of the monks, because for many years most of the emphasis in research of the Cistercians has been on their architecture, and they built wonderful buildings. But we hear less and less about what happened outside the precincts of the abbey.
3 trenches have been opened and the soil is combed for artefacts. These days, with new surveying technology, archaeologists almost know what they'll find before they excavate.
when we did this survey, we identified a whole series of rectangles and walls that seemed to be maybe the orchards, the herb gardens, the parks of the monks who lived in Bective Abbey. But we identified one particular enclosure that seemed to be the earliest enclosure on the site. And we think that was the structure that they first built when they came here in 1147, just to provide some shelter and protection for them after they built the church. The first cutting went through the actual construction ditch of the enclosure, because it's in this ditch that we usually get the earliest deposits. Because when they were building it, you know, they were eating, you know, they were spending a lot of time working on the site, things might have fallen out of their pockets, even food that they had eaten, some of it might have dropped into the ditch. And so we home in on that. So we can almost, we get a sense when we excavate it of when the actual ditch was dug, the weeks that it was actually dug.
Geraldine, come and look at this!
And then Clive, one of the students, makes a spectacular find.
You found a pin, the like of which I've never seen. I've never seen a bronze pin with a head on it like that before. They seem to have taken the bronze, split it down the middle, and curved it into this beautiful, beautiful loops at the head. I've never seen a pin like that before.
Oh my God, that's fabulous.
I've just never seen a head like that before.
But a head that size, would it be used for, say, a sinew, animal sinews for sewing? It's, you know, because of the size of it and things like that, or would it be used for animals and stuff?
Sorry, Clive, that's a different documentary.
I know.
All right?
Yeah, I can't get that one out of my head.
That's a decorative pin.
Yeah, I was just trying to find out how you're going to sew my mouth up, you see, you know?
That's a decorative pin, but I've just never seen the like of it before.
Fabulous.
Usually they just have plain heads on them or a ring pin.
It must be medieval, Matthew, because it's kind of at the late end of the sequence. Joanne, now, I want your advice on how we should
Ever see a head like that before?
I haven't seen anything like that,
I've never seen a head like that before.
I haven't seen a head like that before.
They would have worn very open weave cloaks, and so this would have been, basically this would have been like they would have had a cloak coming over them. They would have put the cloak like this and put it through to close the cloak. It would have been like a button, basically a fastener for some kind of overall.
The students get a chance to participate in every part of the dig process at Bective, and professionals come in to give a hand too.
We've assembled our excavation team here to show how an excavation works. The first thing we do is we survey the site, and that's where Niall comes in. Niall works for CRDS, and he did a fabulous topographical plan of the site before we could excavate it. After we do all the hard work and come down upon features, we have to plan everything in great detail. And that's where Sarah comes in, who's working on a plan of this cutting even as we speak. As you can see from the site, we start from scratch. We take up the sod. That's hard work. That takes the first couple of days. We're just stripping the side of sod. Then we've got to dig down. We're digging down with picks and shovels. We're coming through a very, very nasty, difficult, stony layer to take up. After that, after we get through the picks and shovels part of the work, we're coming down towards the subsoil, and that's when the delicate trowel work starts. We've been very lucky so far. We discovered a lot of fabulous material from the Middle Ages. That's where Joanne comes in. She classifies, bags, and records all our finds.
At the very end of the process, Sarah Cobain brings soil samples back to the lab to see what she can find in the clay.
And my role as a paleoenvironmentalist, I take the seeds and charcoal which are recovered from this, just tiny seeds from within the soil. You'll be surprised what you can find. My role is to analyse the seeds and identify the species of plants which are growing in the area, and from this you can interpret what the vegetation is around the site, as well as in some cases what people are eating, what crops are being grown, and what plants are being used within diets of people living during this period.
Digging is hard physical work, so it's a perfect time for a break. Where Bective Bridge is now, there once was a fording point across the Boyne. In recent years, the river was dredged here, dumping riverbed mud onto the bank. So, using a metal detector, Liam from CRDS Archaeology is going to have a look for signs of past human activity.
Well, he's trying to find artefacts that might have fallen out of people's pockets when they crossed the river here, when they were visiting Bective Abbey, because this would have been the main crossing point on the river. In medieval times, there was no bridge. There was just this fording point. And so there would have been a lot of people passing to and fro across the river. So we're just looking for possible metal artefacts associated with these people. So we're using this metal detector to identify signs of those metal objects. Now, we have a ministerial consent to actually use this metal detector to identify these features. And anybody using a metal detector would need a licence from the Department of the Environment.
No story here, just one of those disappointing finds. A bit of barbed wire, you find plenty of barbed wire, but sometimes you find the good stuff, but you just have to keep on going.
Bective Abbey was teeming with monks for hundreds of years. The Bective excavation has certainly opened up a window on past lives.
Look what we found here. We found a broad range of medieval artefacts, but this is the remains of a medieval floor tile. It's decorated, it has this circular arc, maybe some kind of flower pattern, and it has the beginning of some kind of writing, C or O. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but this is typical of the kind of medieval floor tile you would see on the floor of a chapel. This is an oyster shell. So we were about 20 miles from the sea. So these would have had to have been brought from the sea. We know there was other Cistercian abbeys near the coast of Meath, and maybe the monks visited the Bective and brought these with them. Oh, we found the wall that I predicted would be here this morning. We were excavating these like foundation trenches of some kind of house or structure, and I expected that there was a gap in the trench this morning, and I expected that gap was probably because there might have been a threshold or something going into it. So they've just uncovered a wall into a hallway, maybe the lobby of this house.
The monks who lived within these walls were a hospitable bunch. The abbey was a sort of hotel of its time, welcoming visitors and pilgrims alike. Local people from the area have been joined on the dig by archaeological enthusiasts from as far away as America, Sweden and Greece, but all have enjoyed the close encounter with the monks from 800 years ago.